When I arrive to shoot an interview, I look around the room and decide where I'm going to set up, depending on the windows and the background options. So for an interview, I'll want to have the background out of focus, and I also want to add depth to my shots. So by moving the person away from the background, I'll add depth to the shot, and by definition the background will be out of focus if I'm focusing on the person who I place in the foreground. I'm often putting myself up against the wall so I can add as much depth to my shots as possible. In terms of my exposure settings, I'll have my aperture as wide open as possible to have a very shallow depth of field. Now with that set, I can adjust my ISO depending on how much light there is in the room or whether I'm going to use my own lighting. Then I'll make sure that the shutter speed is still at 1/50th, as that never changes. So that's how I use the exposure triangle when I'm setting up for an interview. If you're interviewing outside, you'll need a variable ND filter. This acts like adding sunglasses onto your camera, as it will block the amount of light entering the lens and hitting the sensor. In very bright conditions, you'll have your ISO as low as possible, and then you can adjust how much light is blocked out with the variable ND filter. This will allow you to have the aperture wide open to get a shallow depth of field, even when it's very sunny.